Hello everyone, and welcome back to Titanium Cat Airsoft, and today I am going to talk to you about the Asia Electric G Limited, AEG Limited, pistol. Well, that's complete bullshit. It's a WE P320, or 320. This is obviously a WE. Everything about it looks like a WE, so why is it called AEG Limited? Around a week ago, we on their Facebook page announced that Cybergun unfortunately didn't give them the license to make the P320, and that they are very regretful and all that rubbish. And suddenly, a week later, this thing came out. So in typical Wii fashion, they don't care. And honestly, I don't care. But obviously, what that means is the markings on this gun are non-existent. So what you're supposed to get is 6 Sauer P320 here, and then there should be 6 Sauer on the grips on both sides. But it does have Newington, USA, which obviously isn't a licensed thing because it's a place. So that's kept on there. And you should have a metal plate there. So this gun was introduced around 2016, and it is basically a striker-fired version of the P250, which SIG released previously. And the SIG P250 is the gun that actually Hong Kong CID police uses. So I guess you can pass this off as one of those until one of those is made in airsoft, I guess. But back to the main point, this gun is SIG's actual first entry into the striker-fired pistol market. And what sets this aside is that it uses the same modular design as the P250, which means the slide and the frame is accessories to the inner frame, which is the actual part that is registered as the firearm. I will show you that in a bit. So this gun has actually recently seen quite widespread success, and that's due to the fact that the US Army was looking to replace the aging Beretta M9s, and in the end they've chosen to go with this in the designation of M17. Which is a slightly different configuration to this one. That one is completely tan, with a full-length slide, RMR cut, and it's got different sights. So, let me take this thing apart for you and show you that modular design. So first you remove the magazine, rack the slide back, cock it, and lock it. Then turn this lever and the whole slide should come out. And then on the real thing, if you just pull this takedown lever out, this whole frame should come out. But on this airsoft, you have to remove this screw first. I'm going to go and do that. And then you just simply pull the whole frame out. So this is just completely a plastic frame. And this is all the inner workings for the trigger group and the trigger. And as I was saying, this thing is why this gun was so successful. Because the slide can just be changed to a longer one or a shorter one into a different caliber, and the frame, they come in different sizes. So this is a compact size, you've got a full-length size, you've got a subcompact size, and then for each of these sizes, you get different actual fitment sizes. So if you can see here, it says M. So for the compact size frame, you get medium, large, and small as well to fit your hand. So basically this is like a Lego gun, which you can configure to whatever you want. So you can have one gun and like many different configurations without blowing all your money, I guess. And this is why it's so successful. So let me put this thing back together. So your trigger kind of has to go into the hole a bit first. Then pressing onto all the parts so they don't fly out, you just push it into the frame. And you kind of have to wiggle it. I'm doing this on camera, so it's a bit hard. There we go. And you just put it in. And then finally, you just put your screw back in. And your takedown lever. I don't know if you can see, the takedown lever has a side that is flat, and you can't really see, but there's also a flat side. So you line those up and you just wiggle it in. And just keep turning it until it fits. There we go. And then just put the slide back on. Oop, my hammer's up. Lock back. Push the barrel back. And there we go. Check. So let me talk about the actual airsoft gun. This gun is around the same size as a Glock 19. The slide is shorter, but the overall length is around the same. But the grip on the bottom protrudes around an inch. It's around an inch longer than the Glock 19s. When you pick this gun up, it just feels amazing. The ergonomic of this gun, like all other 6-hour guns, to be honest, feels really good. And the grip angle I really like because it's much straighter. So when you just hold it, it points straight. It's completely straight. Whereas on the Glock, when you hold it, it points upwards, which is odd. And I always have to do some stippling and some plastic surgery to try and make that a bit better. This just fits like a glove. So I've actually literally had this gun for around 5 hours, and I've been playing around with it. And there's some observations I would like to tell you. First thing, actually when I was in the shop where I picked it up, QRF, go check them out. I always play with the gun and dry fire them. So I would rack the slide and dry fire. And first thing I notice, very light trigger. But I always hold down the trigger and rack the slide back. And if you can see, for some reason, the trigger goes back further. Let me try that again. So I pull the trigger, brakes. This is the most I can press on it. And when I rack the slide back, it goes further. That is just weird. And I've never experienced that in any other guns I have. So upon further inspection, it turns out that this is because the disconnector thing, the little nub that sticks out for the disconnector, is actually at the back. So it doesn't actually matter where it is, but when the slide is in the rest position, where the slide is not locked back, this is the furthest it would go. What it requires to go further back is when this disconnector is actually actuated, pressed down by the inner workings of the slide, and the trigger can go back further. See? But it's an odd thing, but it doesn't actually affect anything, because when you actually put the magazine in, let me show you. If you put the magazine in, and fire the gun, it goes all the way back. That's because when you actually pull the trigger, the slide flies back so quickly that it gets past that. So you'll never feel that two-stage thing. But I just like to point that out because it's just odd. And I don't know if it's only my gun that does it or all of them does it because of tolerances and all that. So, what does this gun feel like when you shoot it? It is really snappy. But the recoil is not as big as you might expect from newer guns nowadays, because there's been a race to have really big blowback, and they're just making the blowback housings much bigger. The VFC line of guns have really big blowback nowadays, like the FNX, what's the other one called? I can't remember. All of those guns have really big snappy blowback, and this honestly is not as snappy as those ones, which is kind of disappointing, but it does feel good at the same time. What I also observed from playing around with it for a while is that, oh, let me take this back, slide off again. Listen to this. Yep, you didn't hear anything. Normally you would hear a click when you put the trigger back, pull the hammer back when the sear engages and locks onto it. And I don't know if you can see this. The sear is this little piece here. And when you pull the trigger, it moves away and lets the hammer fall forward. But on this gun, if I release the trigger, that sear engages really, really slowly. The spring is simply not strong enough. I don't know if you can see that. And I worry that because this thing moves so slowly and there's hardly any pressure on the hammer, there could be misfires where the sear does not catch under fire, so it goes just goes full auto. And I have in fact experienced this once or twice during my time with this gun. So that is something to worry about, I think. So putting this back together, I have found that when shooting the gun, the consistency of the blowback is not consistent. Some blowback, sometimes it blows hard, sometimes it's not. So I guess that's what you get with most typical WE guns, to be honest. It's a skirmisher, it's not like a precision machine, I guess. But for the price, why not? So what I like about this gun is that, once again, the ergonomics is very good. And what you see with guns nowadays, polymer guns nowadays mainly, is that they really considered the mag well. And if you can see, there's a bit that sticks out, and this really helps you with reloading quickly, because it sort of guides your magazine in. And also there's a cutout for you to strip the magazine out if for some reason it does not fall out freely, which this does. So other things I've noticed is that it's got ambi slide lock, but in typical WE fashion, the right side one doesn't really work. It's too bendy. It's got to be a harder material. See, I've been pushing this and it's not. It works sometimes. It doesn't work other times. So don't count on it. It does have ambi safety, so this allows you to carry it cocked and locked, as you can see. So when you draw the gun, it's kind of in the position of a 1911. So when you just grip it, you can naturally disengage the safety and shoot, which is a good thing. But look at these. It's really loose. And what I don't like about this gun, because of this safety, it gets really quite hard to engage the slide release with one finger. And for some reason, it does get stuck like that. I don't know if it's the oil or something. It just needs to be broken in, I guess. And it's quite hard to engage this slide release because it's really small, actually. I don't like that at all. So I recommend you doing the two-hand, once you reload, use your left hand to engage it, which I do naturally, but it would be nice if I can do it one-handed as well, easily. And this actually gets in the way of that. Another thing to note is, in typical 6-hour fashion, the bore axis of this gun is actually really high, just like the 226 and all the other guns, pretty much after the P210, which is just glorious. It's got really low bore axis, as you can see. Bore axis is the distance between the barrel and your actual hand, and this is quite small on the P210, whereas this has a huge bore axis. This actually affects your recoil on the real steel, and to an extent to airsoft guns, because it does have blowback. But honestly, I don't think it's too much of a problem on airsoft. It's easily controllable is what I mean. I'll talk briefly about the magazine. So it's a double stacked magazine, and it's pretty standard magazine, but what I've noticed is that the feed lip is very, very thin on one side. And I do worry that if you drop this on anything hard, it's just gonna snap off. So just do be careful of that. To wrap up, I'm pretty sure WE is gonna release different frames, different sizes frames and slides for this gun. And by the way, this gun does come in black, and another version is tanned. And in the end, I might go and get some laser done for the markings. And the frame, if you've followed me in for any amount of time, you would know I'm definitely going to stipple this. I basically stipple everything plastic. So I'll show you that once I'm done with it, when I have time. So why didn't I get the tan version? Well, I'm actually waiting for the VFC to release their actual M17. And VFC externals are just vastly superior to the WE ones. Yeah, but the internals, meh. So those are just my observations for the WE P320. And would I recommend buying this? Yes. I don't see why not. For the price, you get a nice feeling gun that shoots okay. And if you're looking for something other than a Glock, this is a good choice. So if you like this channel, please subscribe. If you don't like this channel, please comment and tell me why you don't like it. I do know I ramble on a bit without any structure. I'll try and improve on that. And if you do like what you see, please also like my Facebook page found in the description below. Thank you, and I'll see you another time.